Hello children, welcome back to English class. Today's session we are going to learn from Unit 7 Supplementary Reader. The title is The Christmas Truce and it was written by Aaron Shepard. First we'll see about the author. Aaron Shepard was born on 7th October 1950. He was a professional storyteller and performer in Reader's Theatre from 1985 to 1991. He had also worked as a publisher, journalist, computer programmer, musician, instrument maker, and salesman. He is the award winning author of Savitri, A Tale of Ancient Indian, The Legend of Lightning Larry, The Sea King's Daughter, and many more children's books. Aaron's specialty is retelling folk tales and other traditional literature from around the world. His work has been honored by the American Library Association, the National Council for the Social Studies, the American Folklore Society, the New York Public Library, and the Bank Street College of Education. Let's get into the story. Children, listen carefully. Meanwhile, I'll ask you questions. This piece of story is set during World War I, highlights the beauty of unlikely friendships and fellowship. It is a British soldier's letter to his sister on how all enmity was forgotten as British and German soldiers and celebrated Christmas together. So, there have been lots of stories and books written about Christmas truce of 1914 that spontaneously occurred between British troops and German troops. Now, Aaron Shepard has written another version of this astounding event. Okay, what does the story highlight? Think well and try to give answer. Yes, it highlights the beauty of unlikely friendships and fellowship, right? Yes. Okay, when was this letter written and to whom was it written? Yes, it was written on the Christmas Day in the year of 1914 by a British soldier, Tom, to his sister Janet, right? Yes. In a fictional letter to his sister Janet, back home in London, Tom, a soldier at the Western Front, tells her the extraordinary story of how the truce came about. Soldiers on both sides of no man's land, a space of only 50 yards, were relatively quiet on Christmas Eve day, waiting for replacements after heavy fighting and many deaths. It was cold and had snowed, so everything, including the soldiers, was frozen. Tom, the British soldier, was on the battlefield of France. They had stayed in a long, narrow ditch. It was terrible. Suddenly, as night fell and even the sporadic gunfire stopped, the British heard the Germans singing Still Natch, Age Natch, and saw that they had placed Christmas trees complete with burning candles all along their trenches. That was their first complete silence in a month. Okay, how did Germans place their Christmas trees? Yes, the Germans had placed their Christmas trees in front of their trenches and they lit by candles or lanterns like beacons of goodwill, right? Yes. Where did the soldiers stay? Yes, you're absolutely correct. The soldiers stayed in their trenches. Soon, the soldiers on both sides began to trade favorite Christmas carols back and forth across no man's land. Finally, the Germans invited the British soldiers to come out of their trenches and meet in the middle. And both of them agreed to stop shooting on Christmas. As Christmas Eve wore on, soldiers on both sides discovered they had lots in common. After exchanging gifts, badges, and uniform buttons, coffee and tea, and even newspapers, the soldiers parted and went back to their trenches. Thus, they celebrated Christmas in the midst of war. As Tom ends his letter to his sister, he writes, all nations say they want peace. Yet on this Christmas morning, he wonders if they want it quite enough. Now we'll see few hard words and its meaning from the supplementary reader. Bewilderment, a feeling of being perplexed and confused. Carols, a religious folk song or popular hymn, particularly one associated with Christmas. Dugout, a trench that is dug and roofed over as a shelter for troops. Maim, injured or wound seriously and leave permanent damage to body or parts. Muck, dirt, rubbish or waste matter. Slog, work hard over a period of time. Splatter, a small quantity of something moist or liquid. Stumble, trip or momentarily lose one's balance, almost fall. Trenches, a long narrow ditch. Truce, an arrangement to stop fighting or arguing for a period of time. Let's see few key points for better understanding. Christmas truce means cease fire of a war at Christmas. It occurred during World War I. Tom, a British soldier, wrote this letter to his sister Janet. He narrated how the British and German soldiers celebrated Christmas together. They sang Christmas carols near their trenches. They gave each other gifts. They gathered around the bonfire. They celebrated Christmas like friends. It revealed that Christmas is meant for spreading the mission of love. Okay, children, up to this, the story gets over. Hope you understood. Please go through the story in your textbook to learn more about it. Thank you.